Yeah, hello. Good evening. Hello.
Yeah, just wait for a few minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Shashi, will you please enable the sharing option?
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. Just wait for a few minutes. Let people join. Okay? Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, Anurag, I'll tell you when to start.
Yeah.
Just wait for a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me first share the screen with you guys, then I'll ask something.
Anurag,
Yeah, Shashi.
we have to wait for 5 minutes. I will tell you when to
Okay,
start.
okay,
Just hold on. Wait for 5 minutes. Okay?
okay.
Hi everyone, salam. Asima,
Yes,
Delina, Nabil,
Hi, Mr.
how are you all?
Fine.
All well?
Fine.
Nice. So today, as I said, we'll be starting chemistry. So we have a new teacher today with us, Mr. Anurag. Okay, so Anurag teacher will start with periodic tables. So what we will do is we will first understand the basics, and then we will go along as soon as it feels, whatever things probably you can rush, and whatever details are required, you can continue. So yeah, Mr. Anurag, you can just say hi, and I'm just making you the host, then you can continue. Okay.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I made you the host. You can say share screen and start.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Hi everyone. Good evening. Okay. So
Hi.
my name is Anu. Yeah. Hello. Yes, Shashi. You're saying something?
No, it was someone else. He said hi to you. Okay, it was Kalibhai.
Okay. Okay. Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Okay. So my name is Anurag, and I will be teaching you chemistry. So first of all, welcome all of you, and I want to know what basics you have in your periodic classification chapter. Like if I'll ask you, do you know about difference between cation and anion? And how it is formed?
Anurag, 1 second. Can you just click on the recording button over there at the top?
Okay.
Just click on that.
Just a minute.
On the top
It
left,
is-
you will see. Top left.
Just where it is.
I think you have to unshare your screen first.
Okay. Okay. You want me to? Okay. Okay. Huh. I'll get. I gave you the permission to record.
Yeah, you've recorded? Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Hi everyone. So I was asking, do you know the difference between cation and anion and how it is formed? Anyone? You can just message me. You don't need to say anything if you don't want to, but you need to message so that I can know what is from where I can start with you guys. Yeah. Anyone? Okay. So let's say I'm giving you one metal and one non-metal. Which one will form cation and which one will form anion?
Can I try?
Yes.
Metal will form cation and non-metal will form anion.
Okay. Right. That is very good. Metal will form cation and non-metal will form anion. And the reason is that metal have a tendency to lose electrons. That's why they form cation, and non-metal have a tendency to gain electrons. That's why they form anion. So why they have the tendency to lose electron and why non-metals have the tendency to gain electrons? Anyone can explain this phenomenon? Like if I'll say that I have sodium, let's say I have sodium, and its symbol is Na and atomic number is 11. So why we write sodium as Na plus? Why we can't write sodium as Na minus? What is the reason?
Answer.
Yeah, I want to know why metals form cation and non-metals form anion.
Oh, can
Why?
I answer?
Yeah, you can answer.
It's because metals have extra electrons and want to lose the electron.
Okay. Okay, nice. So let's say how many of you know how to write electronic configuration? Give me the electronic configuration of sodium.
Is it 281?
Yes, it is 281. Okay. So I got the electronic configuration of sodium. It is very correct. Thank you. So I just want you to know that in chemistry, if any reaction is happening, just listen to me. Okay. If any reaction is happening, that reaction is only happening to lower its energy. Okay. They want to stabilize their system so that they can be in a peace. If I want to put it in different words, like the pious word in chemistry is 8, which we say usually octet. Okay, so every element wants to complete its octet. That's why they react. Like you know that noble gases don't react. Okay, like if I write helium, neon, argon, xenon, radon. Okay, these gases do not react with any other element, because if you will write electronic configuration of these, you will notice that the outer shell have 8 electrons in its cell. Like neon have atomic number of 10 and its electronic configuration is 2, 8. Okay, so the outer shell have 8 electrons. Okay, so if they have 8 electrons in them, so they don't need to react.
Mr.
Okay, you are getting this?
Yes.
Okay, okay, thank you. So that's why sodium does not have 8 electrons in its outermost shell. So they need to react with other systems. Just a minute. Yeah. So sodium does not have 8 electrons in its outermost shell, so they need to react with other elements. That's why in order to complete its octet, that's why they react. They lose 1 electron in its outermost. This 1 electron will sodium will lose this 1 electron and gain 1 positive charge. Okay, like if I say that sodium have I have to write if sodium have electronic configuration of 2, 8, then it lost its 1 electron and gains 1 positive charge. Okay, so now the octet is complete in its outermost shell, but it gained positive charge. So to neutralize this positive charge, it have to react with some negative charged elements. Okay, so I can react with Br or chlorine or fluorine, whatever we like. So so we write chlorine. If you are going to write chlorine, chlorine's atomic number is 17, and the electronic configuration of chlorine is
2.
it is 287. So you are noticing that it have to gain one electron in order to complete its octet. So it will gain one electron Cl minus and will form Cl minus and will have 288. Now it also have 8 electron in its outermost shell. So now in other words, we can say that since these two have opposite charges, they will attract each other. Okay, like in general sense, if anything have opposite charges, they'll attract each other. So sodium having positive charge and chlorine having negative charge will attract each other and form NaCl, which is our table salt, or we use that as common salt. So this is the phenomenon why metals lose electrons and why non-metals gain electrons. This is the basic simple explanation with the help of electronic configuration. Everyone is okay with this?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what if I'll give you Mg and chlorine? What will be the formula with the combination of these two elements?
Magnesium chloride.
Yeah, what will be the formula? That is the name of that compound. That is very good. But what will be the formula?
And
Like in NaCl, Mg.
Mg2.
Okay, it will be
MgCl2.
MgCl2. That is very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and everyone is getting that how we are able to write that it is MgCl2, or do I need to explain this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'll explain. Okay, I'll explain. Don't worry, I'll explain. Oh, so if I am going to write the electronic configuration of Mg, which have an atomic number of 12, so it will be 282. Okay, and if I'll write chlorine again, which I have written earlier, it will be 287. So in order to complete octet, Mg will lose 2 electrons and will form Mg2 plus. And in order to complete octet in chlorine atom, it will gain 1 electron and form Cl minus. Now, I said that this is the number of electrons they are gaining or losing, but there is one other thing also. It is also their valency. Okay, this is also their valency. So if Mg have lost 2 electrons, its valency will be 2. And if chlorine have lost 1 electron, gain 1 electron, its valency will be 1. So I'll simply cross multiply it with the numbers, and the formula will become MgCl2. And this is how we could get this formula. Everyone is okay with this?
Yes.
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 Okay. Okay. So if I'll give you that I have calcium. Okay. Everyone knows the atomic number of calcium? Okay, it is 20. But you need to memorize the atomic number. It is very important. You need to memorize the atomic number. I don't know if your school or your college gives you the table for the atomic number, but if they give you, then you don't memorize this thing. But for the easy calculation, if you know these things, it will be very good. So the calcium at an atomic number of 20, and let's say I'll give you what I'll give you. I'll give you fluorine, which is having atomic number of 9. What will be the formula with the combination of calcium and fluorine? Just give me the formula.
Mm.
Yes, please. Try.
Mr. Is it 2882?
Yes, its electronic configuration is 2882. And what about the fluorine?
Two
27.
Yeah, sorry.
27.
Okay, 27. Very good. It is 27. Very good. So now try to write the formula with the help of these electronic configuration.
Can
I
answer
Yes, please.
CaF2.
CaF2. That is very good. It will lose 2 electrons. So it will form Ca2 plus, and it will gain 1 electron in order to complete its octet. It will form F minus. So if I'll have to write in a very layman word, then calcium will be having valency of 2 and fluorine will have a valency of 1. And I'll just simply cross multiply this and I'll get CaF2. Okay. So how many of you know the electronic configuration in terms of SPDF? Like you know the electronic configuration in to a KLMN form. The electronic configuration you are using like 287, it is in KLMN form. But how many of you know the electronic configuration in SPDF form? Anyone? Okay, let me explain this to you. This will actually help you. The SPDF form will actually help you to write the KLMN form. So if you learn the SPDF form, it will help you. Just a minute. It's not synchronizing, so I'll have to just reshare it. Just wait for 2 minutes. Yes. So let's start with SPDF form. So actually, what happens that KLMN are cells, and these cells contain orbitals. Like K contain s orbital, L contain sp orbital, M contain spd orbital, and N contain spdf orbital. So that's how we write the electronic configuration in terms of KLMN form. So if I'll have to write the electronic configuration in SPDF form, first you need to know the capacity of how many electrons it can contain, maximum number of electrons. So S have a maximum of, S can contain a maximum of 2 electrons. C can contain a maximum of 6 electrons. D can contain a maximum of 10 electrons, and F can contain maximum of 14 electrons. Okay, so now we are going to write the method that how we are going to write. So there is 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 3d, 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f, 5s, 5p, 5c, 6s, 6p, and this will be 7. So now I'm just helping you get through this. Okay, and So you guys will start with 1s. Okay, let's take an example. So I'll start with sodium with having 11 electrons. So basically electronic configuration means we are arranging electrons in a systematic order. Okay, so here we will start with 1s. So we know that s can contain only 2 electrons. So if I'll go to 1s, it will have 1s 2 electrons. Now I have remaining of 9 electrons. We have already filled 2 electrons, so now I have a remaining of 9 electrons. So I'll move on to from 1s to 2s2. So it is still s, so it will have a higher orbital, but it is still s. So it will also contain 2s2. After that, we'll move on to 2p. And now p can contain 6 electrons. But okay, so I'll write 2p6. So now count the number of electrons. It is 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 6, 10. So I have already filled 10 electrons. Now the remaining electron is only 1 electron. Okay, so from moving from 2p to 3s, 3s can contain 2 electrons, but I have only 1 electron, so I'll write 1. Now compile this. 1 with 1, these 2 with 2, and 3 with 3, which is only single. So now it is 2, 8, and 1. So you know this. Okay, and I gave you this. Everyone getting this? How I'm?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So if I'll give you the electronic configuration of, let's say, aluminium, which have an atomic number of 13, give me the electronic configuration of aluminium in SPDF form. It is on your screen, and I'll just writing the capacity here. So you don't need to scroll it up or scroll it down. Okay, now write it. Yeah, if anyone completes, just raise your hand, or you can just say the electronic. But I want everyone to finish, so I don't want to lessen it. Yeah, thank you, Delina. Anyone still trying or? Okay, let me explain this again. Caleb and have some internet problem. So I was saying that we are trying to write the electronic configuration in SPDF form. You guys already know the KLMN form, and I'm trying to convert it in SPDF form. So to write it in SPDF form, you need to know the capacity of electrons, orbitals, how much electron it can contain. It is simple like your flat or bungalow, whatever you have. Just a minute. Yes, Arsena, this is correct. I guess. Yeah, this is no, this is not correct. Sorry. S can contain only 2 electrons, Arsena. Okay, so I was saying that this is just like your home. Let's say I have 2 BHK flats. So I have only 2 rooms, so I can call only 2 friends in my flat. Okay, that is just similar like that. If I have S, then S can contain only 2 electrons and P can contain 6 electrons. Similarly, D and F can contain 10 and 14 electrons respectively. So if I have to write electronic configuration of any element, say sodium, I am writing the electronic configuration of sodium here. So if I'm writing the electronic configuration of sodium here, I'll arrange the electrons in this order. I have written this format. This is a basic trick. You will find it in any book you will study. Yeah, Dalina, that is correct. So I'll start with 1s1. So S can contain maximum of 2 electrons. So I wrote it 1s2. This 2 represents the number of electrons I'm filling. Okay. So now I'll move from 1s2 to 2s2. It is still S. So S will still contain 2 electrons. So now we have filled 4 electrons out of 11 electrons. Now we'll move from 2s to 2p. And P can contain maximum 6 electrons. So I'll give the 6 electrons to it. So now count the number of electrons. 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 6, 10 electrons. So out of 11 electrons, I've already filled 10 electrons. Now I have remaining 1 electron only. So from moving from 2p to 3s, I have only 1 electron. So I'll write, I just simply write 1 here, 3s1. And now I'll just combine it like 1 with 1. So there is this is just a single one. So just 2 electrons in 1 and 2 with 2s and 2p. So I'll write 2 plus 6, 8 and 3s. So 1. So this is your KLMN form which you guys know. So I just converted SPDF format into KLMN format. So if you know this one, you don't have to memorize anything about electronic configuration. Okay. So just try to write the electronic configuration of aluminium. This. If you understood this, just try to write the electronic configuration of aluminium in terms of SPDF format. Caleb, S can contain maximum of 2 electrons. Just look at your
Sir.
answer, please. Yes.
1 is 2.
Yes.
2 is 2. Then 2
Yes.
P. Then 2p 6 because the Yes.
Arsema, you guys are able to hear me? Hello?
Yes.
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 Okay. 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 Arsema, will you please correct your answer, please? Caleb, you do the same. I just want to know if you guys get understood this or not. Like if I give you the if I give you to write the electronic configuration of, let's say, potassium, which have an atomic number of 19. Yeah, Delina, your answer is correct. Yes. Now try to write the electronic configuration of potassium in terms of SPDF. If you have noted it down, then it's okay, or I'm just sliding it on your screen. And if you are able to write the electronic configuration FPDF format, just try to convert it in KLMN format. It will help you. Caleb, your answer is somehow incorrect. Delina, your answer is also incorrect. Please follow the pattern. Just trace the path. You guys are not tracing the path. After 3P, 4S is there, not 3D. Although that is the sequence. No, not at all, Arsema. You just have to follow this path. 3P. After 3P, it is 4S, Delina. I think you got it. You just you have your typo. Yes, Caleb, that is correct. And now try to convert it in KLMN format. Yes, Caleb, your answer is correct. Delina, your answer is also correct. Arsema, please try again. Like if I am writing the electronic configuration of aluminium, which is 13, just see how I write. I'll start with 1s. So S can contain 2 electrons. So it is 1s2. From 1s, I'll move to 2s. So it is still S. So I will write 2s2. From 2s, I'll move to 2p. So it is 2p6. From 2p, I'll move to 3s. Now S still can contain maximum of 2 electrons. So I'll write 3s2. Now count the number of electrons. 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 6, 10, 10 plus 2, 12. Now I have remaining only 1 electron. So from 3s, I'll move to 3p. And this 3p, although it can contain maximum of 6 electrons, but I have only 1 electron. So I'll just give 1 electron to the 3p. And now I'll arrange it. 1 with 1, all two together, all three together. So 2, 8, 3. This is the electronic configuration, you guys know. Caleb 289. No, 2899. That is incorrect. No, it is incorrect. Caleb. Okay. Try it, Asema, now. Try for potassium. Just group it in the sequence of numbers, Caleb. Like 1 with 1, 2 with 2, 3 with 3, 4 with 4. You are grouping 3 and 4 together. Now probably you can see your mistake. Okay, Caleb, 1s2, 2s, 2p, 8, 3s, 3p, 6. Yeah, I'm asking for potassium. Caleb, 3s and 3p's together, 4s will be separated. It is 4, not 3. There are only 2, 3s2 and 3p are together. You can't group it with 4s. It is 4. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Asana, please try to write the electronic configuration of potassium. Its atomic number is 19. Everyone, please try. Yes, Caleb. Now, Delina, your answer is correct. I want you to convert it in KLMN format. Arsema, after 3p, just see what is coming. It's not 3D, it's 4s. Yes. Yes, Caleb. Forest. Yeah. Now try to convert it in KLMN format. Yes, love. Your answer is correct now. You're welcome, Caleb. Okay, so now I'm writing the electronic configuration of potassium. Just cross-check it with your answer. So I'll start with 1s, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. If you count the number of electrons, it is already how many electrons? 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 6, 10, 10 plus 2, 12, 12 plus 6, 18. So after 3p, just look at the 3p. You are going from 3p to 4s, not 3d. 3d will come after 4s. Okay. So from 3p to 4s, you will go 4s1. And now you just have to group it with their number. 1 with 1, 2 with 2, 3 with 3, and 4 with 4. So the electronic configuration will be 2881. This is the electronic one you guys probably remembered or memorized. Yes, Arsena, your answer is correct. Okay, so now you guys, you can just try to write the electronic configuration from atomic number 1 to 20. If you want to write atomic number 1 to 20, just write it in your spare time and then convert it in KLMN form. Just start with SPDF format and then convert it in KLMN format. Okay, that is actually fun exercise if you want to do it in your spare time. If I'll give you, then you will think it is a workload that you have to do. Okay, and now I have to do. Just do whenever you like. Okay, just pick any number from this 1 to 20 and start writing. Let's say I'm giving you carbon. Carbon atomic number 6. It will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. Just group it. 2, 4. Sorry, 2p2. It will be 2p2. 2, 4. This is the atomic number of, this is the electronic configuration of carbon. This is in SPDF format. This is in KLMN format. Okay. So this is it. Now I'm moving to the another topic, which is ionization enthalpy. There is one term known as ionization enthalpy. So what is actually ionization enthalpy, or I can say ionization energy? or potential. These are just names to scare you, but don't get scared. So, ionization enthalpy, ionization energy, ionization potential, whatever you want to say, whatever word you are comfortable with, just use it. So, what is this? This is saying that you are ionizing some element. So, how you are ionizing it? Ionizing means you are withdrawing some electron from any element. So, like I'm saying that there is sodium. You withdraw one electron and make it Na plus. Now this is a cation. This is a cation. Okay. So now since this made a cation, so this process of withdrawing electron is known as ionization enthalpy. So if I have to define this term, then I'll write the energy needed to extract one electron from this is a symbol of electron. If you are getting confused, this is a symbol of electron. So just go with the flow. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. The energy needed to extract one electron from one mole of gas atom. So this is it. So this is the basic raw definition. Okay. Like when basically what happens is there is an atom. Okay. Atom of any element which contains nucleus at the center having positive charge and electrons revolves around it. Okay. Electrons are revolving around it. So what happens that this is your positive charge and these electrons are negatively charged. So since they are opposite charge, they are attracted towards each other. Okay. So if you try to distance them, like if you want to take this electron out, basically there is an attraction for working between this electron and this center, which is a positive charge. So if you try to take this electron, this attraction force will work against you. So you need to apply some energy. Okay. So when you apply that energy I am talking about. So you need to apply more energy than this attraction force. That energy you applied and you took this electron out of this orbit. So the energy required to extract one electron from the gaseous atom, okay, is your ionization enthalpy. So if I have to write the proper definition, that what is the definition? Okay, so I'll write it as the energy needed to extract one electron from an, just let me write it in a very good form so that will make you a good definition. Okay, this line is very important. Isolated gaseous atom. Whenever you extract any electron, you have to convert it in a gaseous form. You can't extract electrons from any liquid form of element or in solid form of element. You have to convert it in gaseous form. Okay. So the energy needed to extract one electron from an isolated gaseous atom is your ionization enthalpy. Okay, या फिर I can write it. The energy needed to extract one electron from an isolated gas atom is defined as, is known as ionization enthalpy. But I encourage you to create your own definition with these words. You don't need to memorize it line by line or word by word. And this is denoted with IE. Okay, IE, ionization enthalpy. So if I am extracting first electron, then it will be IE1. Basically, I withdraw first electron. And if I withdraw some other electron, like second electron, then subsequently it will be IE2 and then IE3. Okay. So what will happen if you will move from IE1 to IE2? Okay. So let me ask you one simple question. If I'm giving you, let's say, if I'm giving you carbon, not carbon. If I'm giving you oxygen, let me give you boron. Boron have 5 electrons, atomic number. So what is the number of electrons, protons, and neutrons in boron? Can anyone calculate this? Number of,
It has 5 electron and 5 proton.
and then what about the neutrons?
The mass number.
Okay. So this will be 5, this will be 5. And mass number of boron?
I think it is
So mass number of boron is, I guess, 11.
Mister,
Yes.
I don't think I'm correct, but I think it's 11.
Yes, it is correct. It is correct. It is 11. 11 is equal to number of proton you have calculated as 5 and number of neutron is m. So if I'll just write it, it will be 6.
6.
Number of neutron is 6. So now let's deal with electron and proton only right now. Okay, I have only 5 electrons and 5 protons. So the force is equal. So what I am doing is, let's start with an example, very simple example. This is a tug of war. Okay, there are 5 electrons in this side and 5 protons on this side. Okay, they have equal strength right now. But now what I did, I withdrawn 1 electron here. Okay, so it will become 4 electrons on the right side and 5 electrons on the left side. 5 protons, sorry. 5 protons on the left side. Now what will happen? This proton will exert more attractive force on electrons. Okay, so if I want to extract 1 more electron from here, what will happen? I need to exert more force than earlier. Is it okay? Let's do with the example. Let's go with the example. Let's say there are 10 students, 10 of your friends on one side and 10 of your friends on another side. Okay, just keep it 10-10 and imagine that everyone, combining everyone, there is an equivalent force to between both the groups. So what I am doing right now, I'll just remove 1 person from one side. Now there are 9 person on the one side and 10 person on the one side. What will happen? 10% will be able to pull them towards themselves. Okay. So if I have to, if I remove one more person, now there will be 8% on the first side, and there will be 10%. Okay. If I have to pull the 10%, I have to exert more force. Now you are imagining what I am trying to say,
Yes.
everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So now that's what I'm saying. IE1 will be, if there is IE1, there you need to exert lower force. But if there is IE2 or IE3, now you need to exert more pressure or more force to extract your electron. Okay. That is your motive to, so that you can extract electron. But right now you just need to know the definition, that what is the meaning of ionization enthalpy. Okay, if anyone asks you what is ionization enthalpy, you just need to say that when we extract one electron from an isolated gaseous atom, then the energy required in that process is known as ionization enthalpy. Everyone is okay with this definition?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's move on to other definition, which is electron affinity. I'm just giving an overview of these things. These are very easy terms actually. You just need to memorize it, understand it, not memorize it. Okay, so electron affinity, and it is written as EA. So this is just opposite of ionization enthalpy. So what happened is you are extracting electron in ionization enthalpy. Now what I am doing, I am just supplying electron to the system. So the energy released when an electron is okay. Just okay. Okay. We will continue this topic on next session. Okay, so we are stopping here. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Mr.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you.